welcome back once again. Today, I have a special effects look in store for you. Sorry. Now, if you do follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that I was posting little bits of like, can you guess what this is gonna be? And at the moment, nobody has got it correct. Now, the hints that I gave was, it was like a cult classic. I said like 1980s. There's a new one coming out this year. I had a whole spiel, and at the moment, still nobody guessed it. So, for today's look, as you could tell by the thumbnail and the title, I lost my prosthetic. I'm doing the Terminator. Now, this is the first time that I've ever tried to use cap plastic for a prosthetic. I've done a bald cap with it before, but I haven't actually done a like sealing both sides with the cap plastic, and then hopefully I'll be able to get a really nice smooth edge when I stick it to my face. It smells real weird, this prosthetic. It's probably just the gelatin, but I don't know why I keep going back for another sniff. It's not that desirable. So I've got that prosthetic, which I do have the footage on that. And I've whipped together this little eyepiece, hoping that I can potentially go like this and go like this and get a nice robotic look about it. I don't know how well this is going to turn out. I struggled heaps with this. I'll just roll the clips of me making this. I will just speed through it and just talk you through it as we go. And I will see you back in a minute with one brow completely covered. So I'm just starting out by creating a plastic layer over my face cast. This is just so I can draw the shape that I want and not draw it on my face cast. You could, of course, if you do not have a face cast of yourself, use a mask or put it on your own face and just roughly map out where you are wanting to put it. Don't put it over your complete face and not be able to breathe. Be sensible, guys. Don't be too silly. If the pen you're using isn't a permanent marker, you will want to put another bit of plastic just over it so you do not rub off what you've just drawn. But if you do have a permanent marker, which I did not, you do not have to do that step. Now, just on the flat surface, you could do it on a nice board. I'm just doing it straight onto my desk. Just roughly mapping out the shape of the prosthetic that you are trying to create. Don't be too pedantic about this, guys. Just start off rough and then you can slowly build it up, take some down, smooth it out, and just slowly work on this prosthetic. I think it probably took me an hour or two to create entirely. It is a slow process. You don't want to rush this. You want to have it nice and smooth. You want to be able to add lots of detail. You want to have a nice prosthetic so when you do stick it on your face, you don't have to put in a lot of effort to try and make it look nice because you already started with that really nice base prosthetic. So I'm just going in and adding a bit of detail. I'm just adding some holes like rivet marks, rivets or divots, I'm not too sure. Same, maybe. And some screws. I'm just making it up as I go. I don't have a screw mark, like stamp or anything like that. Just working with what I have and then building up the skin texture around it. I like to create a nice flat edge and then push it down onto it, just so you don't run the risk of ruining the detail you've already put in by trying to create that nice sharp skin edge. And just making it reasonably rough as well. You do not want a nice circle, you want it all jagged, like the skin's torn. I mean, from personal experience, I don't know how skin tears, but I'm just making it up as I go and looking at a couple of reference photos from the actual Terminator makeup, just to have a rough idea of how it should look, how high the prosthetic should be, what kind of details, what kind of shape, and all that jazz. Then just with a variety of different tools like the sponges, I'm going in and scraping away at the clay, giving it more of a skin texture. Then just with the silicone sculpting tool, just with some plastic, I'm lightly dotting over to add that texture of pores, so it's not just this smooth surface because skin's really not like that. Then once you're happy with the texture, just go in with a little bit of 99% alcohol and just brush over the entire thing just to give it a nice cohesive look. Then I'm just with some silicone completely covering the sculpt and then just fully letting that cure for about 4 hours, I think it took. And then once it was fully set, I just peeled it off and then started to apply some super baldies, I'm terrible at this, mixed with some isopropyl myrcete, no, that's a lie, isopropyl alcohol, wow, okay, struggle city. And then just sponged that all over to try and create a nice first layer. I think I might have had it too thick. I think that is where I might have gone a little bit wrong. With the whole cap plastic, it was just a lot of effort to try and blend it out completely. However, it did still give that nice seamless look. I just felt like it wasn't as thin as it probably should have been. I ended up doing, I think, 2 layers on the base, putting the gelatin over, and then pouring 2 more layers, I think, on top of that, which I think was just overkill. I think if I really thinned it out, I probably could have done that many layers, but really I probably only needed 1 on the bottom and 1 on the top. I let that fully set overnight as well, just to make sure it was all completely dry before dusting it off, and then slowly, and I reiterate this every time, slowly working up the edges and taking the prosthetic out. That probably took about 15 minutes for me to slowly work away at the edges, just so I didn't ruin it or peel up something that I shouldn't have. However, I did find that the cap plastic did not stick to the middle section of the prosthetic, which was very strange. Then just with some 3rd degree, I'm just going over my face cast and creating a nice blank surface to try and stick the eye to. I wanted to do it on an actual face cast just so it did sit really nice on my eye once it was applied. If you did not have this, you could try and just do it on a flat surface. I do recommend with a face cast. If you do not have a face cast, I'd highly recommend just going with a contact and not covering your eye. It will still give a really cool effect. Here I am just digging out a little bit of clay, putting in some more 3rd degree just to create a raised part of the eye, just because I felt like I couldn't sculpt with the actual silicone onto the silicone until it was cured. And as well, silicone only sticks to silicone. I tried with Prosade, I tried with Spirit Gum, it did not work. Now that my brow is done, just while that was drying, I did pre-paint my prosthetic. So, I usually don't pre-paint things just because I'm usually just too excited to get it on my face. I stick it on my face and then color it. But I just felt like taking it a little bit slower today, and I didn't film it. I don't know why I didn't think about filming the coloring process, but if you would be interested in seeing how to color prosthetics before you stick them on your face, let me know and I will get to that in the next tutorial for you guys. I also just did the little eye one as well, which was partly the reason why I pre-colored it. I am going to be covering one of my eyes, so I would not be able to see very well what was happening on that side of my face. But without further ado, I think I'm just going to stick this to my face right now. So as per usual, I'm just going to be using Prosade. That is my adhesive of choice. However, you could probably use Spirit Gum. Now guys, always be careful when putting stuff around your eyes. I have tested Prosade on myself before, but if you haven't, always test it just a little bit because your eyes can be a lot more sensitive. Also, I like to give it a little bit of gap all the way around the actual opening of my eye, just because it's going to be terrifying if you accidentally stick your eye together. As well, I'd recommend once you apply it to keep your eye completely closed, as your lid will stick to itself, your eyelashes will get stuck to the Prosade. Now just with some Prosade cream, I'm going to go around at just the edges that I think will be visible. I'm not too worried about this half of my face, as the other prosthetic will sit directly on top of it, but just right in the corners here, I'm going to try and smooth it out as much as I possibly can. So now, just while I wait for some of the other spots to completely dry, I'm just taking a little bit of 99% alcohol on a cotton bud and just working away at the cap plastic to try and blend it into a nice seamless edge. So I have blended out all the edges of the prosthetic. They're not perfect, but they will do. First time working with cap plastic, I do think I probably needed to do thinner layers of the cap plastic. I just think it would take too much effort to blend these edges out. They were very thick, but at the same time, I didn't know what I was doing. So just keep in mind when working with alcohol to blend these edges out, it is an assault on the senses. Your nose, your mouth's okay, but breathing it through your nose, it will be terrible. And having it near your eyes, even though this is covered, there could just be little leaks somewhere, so just please be extra careful. Like, I think I'm even pretty happy with the color. I might just try and blend this down a little bit. So I'm just gonna go in and clean up this area here and try and make it look like there is skin tone there as well. I'm just taking some concealer and a little, I think, flat brush. Actually, I'm just gonna go in with this angled brush and just see how that goes. So then I'm just going in with some Fleet Street Drying Blood in Dark, and I'm just going to go and add the blood around the edge of this one too. I'm just going in with some water activated silver paint and just going to put some silver back here where it was lost. And while I wait for that to dry, I think I might add some more little cuts and stuff. So I think I am gonna do it with my Prosade cream. I think the lid might have got left off this a little bit too long because it does seem to be getting very, very thick, like thicker than usual. So while I wait for those to dry, I'm just gonna go in with some scab blood and add some like graze marks, I guess. That's what you'd call them, like gravel rash. Now I think I want to make myself look a little bit grungy, so I don't actually have any fake dirt, which I feel like I should probably get sometime soon. So I'm just going to take the contour palette and just kind of buff on some browns and dirty looking colours. And just see how that goes. And I figured out putting it on with your fingers looks much better, so scratch the brush. I think I just like it because you get this nice uneven kind of distribution. So just filling in these little cuts, I'm just going to add a little bit of silver to the middle just to give that extra little robot jazz. No, I don't know the word that I'm trying to say. So now that I am happy with pretty much the wounds and everything on there, I'm just going to go in and deepen the prosthetics and some of the cuts with, I'm not sure yet, probably just some alcohol pellets just so I can do a nice sheer wash, but I'll see what happens. So there you have it, guys. This is my finished Terminator robot cyborg look. For my first time making a prosthetic using the cat plastic, I am really happy with how this looks blended out. You do get a much nicer blend than just going straight with gelatin. I did of course have a fair few problems with the cat plastic. Oh, sorry, that is a little bit sticky. With the cat plastic actually not sticking to the gelatin on one side. Now I'm not sure whether or not that's because the layers were too thick or what the case was, but something just didn't work there. I don't know if cat plastic and gelatin usually don't mix very well, but I'm happy to keep on trying with that and see how I can progress. But this is not the first time that I have done a look like this. Many moons ago, once again, I did do this with a, it was one of the kind of the first prosthetics that I'd ever made. It wasn't made out of gelatin or anything like that. It was made out of an air drying foam that I put onto my face cast, let dry, peeled off, stuck to it, then put scar wax all around it to create that nice edge. So I will put a photo right here of that look. At the time, I thought I did such a good look. It was not obviously a practical one to wear out, as scar wax is very practical to go out in. However, if you are going to go out in this, guys, just remember, I have no depth perception right now. You could throw a ball at me and I'd be terrible at catching it. I mean, I'm not great at the best of times, but I just had to quickly pop to the sink before and it was a struggle to say the least. Let me know, are you guys excited for the new Terminator? Because I am pretty pumped. I hadn't, I will admit, seen any of them until maybe 3-4 months ago when my boyfriend was like, excuse me, how have you not seen Terminator? So we watched them all. Some good ones, really good ones, and some questionable ones to say the least. Pretty pumped for the next one to come out. Look, really pumped for the next one to come out. Let me know down below though which Terminator is your favorite. Of course, if you were wanting to wear this out and not have that missing eye, you could of course just pop a contact in. There is heaps of really nice cyborg kind of robot looking ones. I am definitely a little bit sad that I do not have somewhere to wear this makeup to. It was so much fun to put on. I think this is now going on probably about, I reckon probably about hour 2 for application and whatnot. I'm actually really happy with how this looks. With the makeup that you see of the Terminator, he does have really pronounced like cheekbones. So I am pretty happy with how that turned out. I didn't really want it to look flat. Now again, I tried to make this as easy as possible for you guys to follow by making this an actual flat mold instead of sculpting it onto my face. Of course, you could add a little bit more detail to the actual eye just to make it pop, but I am really happy with how this turned out. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know down below your thoughts on this. Are you a fan? Are you not a fan? I keep forgetting which way I need to turn my head so you guys can see it. I feel very disorientated with this over my eye. Also, let me know down below if there is any other cult classic movies with pretty wicked makeups that you would like to see me recreate, as I'm always happy to hear your suggestions. Thank you once again, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Hasta la vista, baby.